What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is Monday, July 10th, 2016. How is everybody doing? You are beginning a new week, a new chapter, and I hope wherever you are well. You have your health, you have your mind, you have your spirit, and this is a new day for you. You are starting to take that one step that is needed for you to be happy. Because far too many times, y'all, we got a lot of broken people walking around on this planet. I ain't got to tell you that because you see it in reality every day. You see it on the daily programming we know as news. Nothing is good. It's always a reminder of how bad life can be. But see, we don't have to claim that. They don't have to have anything to do with you if you're doing what you need to do. That means making sure that you've got yourself together. Because see, at the end of the day, you have to answer to yourself. Who am I talking to? See, right now, we're finally coming to a place where real recognizes real. And we having far too many people acting out of character, acting out of self, looking for validation no matter how cheaply it is. And they don't care how the effects was going to have not only on themselves, but on the environment that they find understanding in. Let me tell you something. It's time for you to reel this back in. Uh huh. Because I really, really believe, y'all, that we are living in times where that inner pain, that inner rebellion only wants a voice, only wants a position to sit down and understand what is needed. You know, that clarity, the real you, not that fake you you've been trying to perfect the last so many years, Nah, because that's why you don't sleep right. That's why your best friend is called medication and it's related to denial. Yeah, because see, the real you don't need that. The real you need nothing but peace. Mm, that's right. That means you got to be able to ground your feet and speak your truth. But see, if you don't know who you are, guess what? Why does it not surprise you that you don't know the reality that you're in? How about the dangers that's amongst you? How about the advisories that have been popping up? Seems like pretty calculated lately, hasn't it? Because see, that's God letting you know that this ain't what you want. He's using his angels to let you know that no, there is something better, but you must invest in it. That's what comes off with the trade-off to live your life. Because see, we have free will, y'all. Those were the two gifts God gave us: the ability to unconditionally love ourselves and free will. That means the right to choose. So if you choose to go left, then you deal with what's down left's pathway. If you go right, you go down and see what's down right. But at the end of the day, you should have clarity because it's a choice that should have been found, made here, but validated here. So you probably wonder why I'm putting this out because I'm not going to take up too much of your time. So now we're in a season of show and prove. You said, what do you mean show and prove? See, right now we're we're trying to establish a dialogue in our communities, and we think that, well, you know what, if I make a move this way, this is going to have a cause and effect this way, but that's not going to work. Now, I understand if you're coming from a position where you have no hope, you don't see your worth, you're willing to try anything, even if that means it's going to cost you your mortality. But I'm here to tell you right off the bat that uh, even Judas betrayed God, didn't he? By betraying Jesus, right? He looked him dead in the face, said, "No, I'm good with you. No, only sell out for what? 12 pieces of silver." See, that's a lesson that ain't been embraced yet because we still selling ourselves out. And guess what? We constantly demarginalize ourselves too, especially when it comes to our hopes and dreams. How about our natural gifts that were given the moment you took your first breath? Hmm? Did I explain to you that you got people that have access to you that don't want you to make your dreams reality, and they're willing to even sacrifice themselves to keep you at bay? Because, see, misery loves company. So this is a new week. So now we're getting bold and brazen now. We are thinking that we've got a little footing now, like, well, because I'm pissed off, and because I'm pissed off, I'm going to act a certain way, and because I'm going to act a certain way, it's going to get us a certain result. But nobody's taking consideration in the actions that they do. Maybe you won't see the effect, but your kids will. But nobody wants to think about that when we're being selfish. So we are now in times that are the dialogue is pretty much jacked up. But guess what? The people that matter don't care. So it's kind of like putting a tourniquet on your wallet because now we want to take a position of solidarity, but we can't find solidarity in our own homes. Why? Because there's no respect there. There's no respect there because there's no honor amongst ourselves. We want to build false platforms and put people on TVs as like they the new Messiah. Come on, man. Come on. If you do a little deep, if you dig a little deeper, you see that there's an agenda to everything. Because they look like you don't mean they for you. And you know what's sad about it? We keep yelling about unity, but we keep emasculating our men. And the people that do that secretly have emotional triggers, and that's why you hate them, but you act like them. Don't you understand there's a divine order going on right here? Let's go metaphysical since you want to be new age with it. If you are a yin, why are you acting like a yang? Hmm? But see, I understand that too, because see, we want to give a platform for bad behavior, not own it. Take accountability to attract change. Why? Because you're afraid. Fear. Finally, everything's a reality. Now look at the reality that we live in. That's right, Black Queen. Do you know who you are? I guarantee you don't. Some of the greatest battles that are going to be ever fought is found within inside you because you don't know who you are. But I also know that, hey, if you don't love you, why you think your reality don't love you either? Hmm? So guess what? So now we're doing this. Okay, I'm gonna play the shell game and I'm gonna take my money and move my money over here. Well, let me throw this in consideration. Don't write a check that your ass can't cash. I'm being honest with you because you got to think about this. You got little ones, they are walking, talking recorders of your behavior, good or bad. But pride is a son of a gun, ain't it? And see, that's the kryptonite to the female nowadays because even when you wrong, you won't even admit it to yourself. But you want us to rescue you from the shackles that are found in your mind, which we are unable to do because, see, you won't see your worth. You keep putting yourself in plunder. You keep making a willful decision to defile yourself. Why you think your blessings are delayed? Why you think you laying with him? He's a living constant. He's a reminder of what you don't need, but you don't have the courage to hear your own voice. So now I see we doing this. We're using social media as a means of organization. And I laugh at that. And I say that with respect, but I have to because see, last time I checked, when it comes to goods and services, what do we own? What do we own? It's I saw the flyer said, well, just get the things you need to survive. Okay. But don't you understand that the means of the things that you want to survive is going to impact someone's livelihood too? That looks just like you. And at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. But I think it's kind of hypocritical because those Korean beauty salons are not going out of business. They're not going to shut down. If anything, they're going to be crowded because a lot of y'all going to run your asses up in there and get your number 5 done. You're going to go and throw that hair up in your head that can't hold a hair follicle to what you were birthed with. But we don't want to talk about that. See, we can't unify until we know who we are individually. We're too busy trying to put on shoes that ain't ours. And we get surprised that there's a rock in it. You want change? Change yourself. When you change the way you see the world, you will change your actions. That's what makes your perceptions. Nobody's putting a gun to your head saying, hey, let me go out here and buy these $150 jeans. What? For real? Are they custom made with your name on it? Is the goods that you wear have your name on it? Because last time I checked, that don't say Gerald Davis. But I made a willful choice to buy it. So you can't yell economic freedom when you ain't free here. Maybe it's time for you to get out the dustpan. Get out that little rag and start dusting off what matters inside in your intellect, who you are. Because let's not get it twisted. Nobody cares what you look like when you walk outside your door. Nobody. That's you. You make a choice on how you want the world to see you or perceive you. But see, let's be real too. Because one thing I've come to learn in the last 10, 15 years ago is that the last thing you do, my queens, is you hit that mirror before you go out. So you make a conscious decision on how you want to be presented. So we are what we attract. So what you put out is what you're going to get back. So if you don't like the attention, why are you putting yourself there? But then that means we got to be real too, because there's a lot of failures in our communities too. There's a lot of things being shifted that shouldn't. And it's sad. What's real sad is because what you don't fail to realize is this. You can yell economic shutdown all you want, right? And the top 1% that owns those businesses, they have what we know as a insurance clause. So guess what? When they don't meet their quotas, guess what? There's a margin that they make money off of that. So you're not doing anything. But see, we don't see that. Those in the retail know what I'm talking about. Because see, all that does is impact profit sharing. You know what's going to happen? Then they'll do this. Oh, you don't want to spend your money today? Okay. This is what we'll do. We'll make sure that we have certain goods and services in place and we will have a sale. So they're going to get that money. They're going to make sure that they have the catch products right there, the products that you really want right there, waiting. And they'll make it so good. So guess what? Not only are they going to make profit off that product that they bought wholesale, they're going to make a profit off the fact that it was on sale. So they get a 2-for-1 off of you. But once again, let's go back. You got people. Queen ain't gonna stop getting her hair done. She's not. She ain't gonna. She's not gonna worry. Oh no, she's not gonna look. She'll go a couple of days without making sure that hair's right, right? So how are you controlling your economics? Because last time I checked, I don't see a mass exodus of you saying I'm gonna take this crap out, which really defiles you anyway. I don't know why you turn around think that that's what you need. Actually, that's what's taken away from you. You've got people that are so insecure. They say, well, you know what? The lighter I become, the easier I'll be economically. I'll be in that lane. And guess what? They've been doing this for the last what? Since the 40s. You ain't got to believe me. Ask your elders. I guarantee you got some elders that could pass. Hmm. Yeah, they passed. They did whatever they thought they had to do to negate the struggle. Why? Because they wanted to survive. They did what they thought they had to, especially in the female community. Come on now. You think that uh, Beyonce looking, before there was a Beyonce, there was, who was the it girl back then? It was Vanessa Williams. Before there was Vanessa Williams, it was Irene Cara. Before Irene Cara, it was Diane Carroll. Before that, there was Dorothy Dandridge. Before that, it was Lena Horne. Before that, and the list keep going on and on and on and on. They've been doing this. So it's supposed to be different now. When in actuality, even though we have more technology, we're more dumber than we were before. Why? Because we don't even use our brain. Why? That's a question you need to ask. I remember when there was a time where your parents ingrained in you, there are 10 numbers that you're supposed to know. These 10 numbers are vital. Memorize them. And you did. But we put so much emphasis in that darn box that it basically has stolen part of your soul. It has taken part of your identity. So now, what's going on? We want to just say, hey, we want to stop traffic now. We want to cause social duress. Okay, okay, okay. All right. If you want change, why don't you? Yeah, I'm for investing in our community, but I don't see nobody putting businesses up out there. I don't see nobody building schools out there. I don't. Why? I know what what's name's trying to do. I know what he's trying to do. But guess what? He's still practicing separatism, not accountability. And yeah, I know there are plenty of people that are saying, well, you know what? It was better when we were apart. Hmm. Yeah, but we were living in a world of ignorance and hate. And you know what's sad? You still don't hear people talk about this. Some of the biggest racism ever going on this planet is your own people. We don't talk about that, right? Huh? Team light skin, team dark skin. What? Really? Team slim, team big bone. What? Until you know who you are, until you willing to work on no moons, your life is gonna be in delay. You're gonna keep choosing from something you shouldn't even had to choose. But see that I get it because see, we glorify the bad boy, right? But we get mad when he leave you with 6 kids. Shouldn't have been with him. We mad at Sarah because Sarah won't close her legs. But we're surprised that the STD rate doesn't decline. Why? For real? Oh, nobody wants to talk about that, right? But yet we still keep killing ourselves, right? We keep killing ourselves for a rep. Nobody wants to talk about that. So how far you think your money's gonna go? Your money's only gonna go as far as your mind will expand. So tell me again why you don't deserve to be happy. Because until you decide to step out of that lie that you live in, because that ain't who you really are. And that's where the turmoil is. That's where the conflict is. The person you really are behind closed doors to the person who you were on the street. And that's why they make bars. That's why they make plots. Because they know that if you did decide to love yourself, your life would be different. You would make an impact on someone else. Even if that meant they would stop to ponder why. What is it about you that makes you different from me? Maybe that's when the dialogue could start. Maybe that's when the healing can begin. But see, I also understand this too, because this is all calculated. This has been going on for at least 5 years. We've been attacking our spirituality. We've been we've been blasphemous on who God is and what He looks like, and not worrying about where our feet are planted. I get that. But see, what y'all fail to realize is, see, you try to you try to demarginalize God. You try to, you do. You know, it's like He's got to fit a certain image for you. Let me tell you something. He is the great I am. He can be anything He wants when He wants, because He created you. And you have the audacity to come out your mouth and say because He don't look in the image that you wore. I'm gonna say this. The description was written in the book. It was written there. It don't matter. Yes, I'm doing research right now because we all know King James wrote that book to serve him. We also know that King James was a pedophile too. I didn't like that truth, but it was. So we can also see the gay agenda there too, because see, homosexuality has been going on since the Greek era. That's why them potteries saw a lot of nakedness. That's why your statues were a lot of nakedness. Why? Because there was a lot of lust and debauchery going on. So I'm not gonna give up on hope. But it doesn't matter until you decide to look yourself in the mirror. It doesn't matter until you decide. See, ain't nothing worse than a person that can't speak their truth and they take it to their graves. They know they did wrong, You know you're gonna pay for that, right? Because your influence is, and that's what the lineage is all about. That's what also generation curse is about too, because you didn't have the courage to free yourself from your own truth. So yeah, Queen, I'm gonna always have higher standards when it comes to you because God made you woman. He gave you the ability to nurture. You are the foundation. Man is the seed. But see, all this that we see right here is pain, anguish, and the non-ability to speak your truth. And we are seeing a plethora of rebellion. And that ain't nothing but fear. It ain't nothing but fear. You just start peeling those, you take that peeling off like a banana, you'll see the truth. But I also see something big. I see something bigger too. Because see all those people right there. If you pull them to the side one by one, I guarantee they you can pull them apart. You ask them what's really going on, what they really need, they'll tell you something. They all need to be loved. They all need to feel safe. They all need to feel protected. But right now they're pissed off because see their environment is based off of the environment that their parents made. How about their mamas? How about the neglect of their dads? So does it surprise you when you hear the same? He's a chip off the old block. But daddy was broken. Mama just finished the job off. But see, a lot of times that's why we have a lot of family secrets too. And that's why that child grows up to be dysfunctional because it searches for identity and they can't relate to neither one. Or they feel like they're the link between the two and they feel like they're being torn. So who becomes the pawn? Who becomes the weapon? If you want things to get better, you must do better. Sometimes might is not right. But you know how they say, stop worrying about what's your neighbor's doing and worry about what you doing. Because if you're not worried about what you doing, you're a hypocrite. I say this because I love each and every one of you. You deserve to be happy. But look, you control your own pain. You do. Therefore, you have to do your own work. But guess what? How do you expect things to get better when you don't even have a conversation with God? Because look, y'all, God is real. And I know somebody's going to say, well, if God was real, why would he allow things to happen? Because he's waiting for you to see the errors of your ways. He's not going to give you your blessings until you learn your lessons. That's where that's how the devil works, y'all. He's the deceiver. Remember that saying, that old saying, if a person jumps off a bridge, you're gonna do it too? It's a whole lot of jumpers nowadays, ain't it? You got people trying to pull a page out of education off of history that they don't even know. We should have did this then and they didn't do that then. Well, don't you think if they did it then, you wouldn't be doing this now? There had to be a breakdown somewhere. Somebody had to give up on something, or somebody realized something and they didn't have the courage to make the change. Each one teach one, y'all. So if the environment is to show bad behavior, what are we teaching? That's all I'm saying. In the meanwhile, Sally gonna still be on that pole. In the meanwhile, Jesse's still gonna be making no little twerk videos here. In the meanwhile, Sarah's still gonna go to the job and she's gonna meet Larry in the parking lot. Why? Because they don't see their worth. Steve, he looking He's just gonna be out there trying to be Billy Badass because he never had a dad in his life to say this is not what you need to do. So yeah, we are living in the environment of the lost boys. So does it surprise you, lost boys, last tribes? They all traveled, but did they find themselves and find what they needed? Maybe what you need was there the whole time when you decide to look inside you. See, you can't move forward unless you do the work inside to get rid of. But guess what? You got to take accountability for what has to be removed now, right? Ain't no free ride when it comes to your life. So you got to put the bricks down, build the foundation, take the stopwatch out of your life so your legacy can stand the test of time. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of ironic that, you know, we want to we want to we want to yell separatism, but yet you ain't gonna get off of this. You want separatism? Deactivate your phone. You gonna do that? No, you ain't gonna do that. If anything, it's gonna spawn more economic growth. You see it all the time. Prime example. Here's a good analogy. What do you do when there's a storm warning? Oh, they get on there with the weather. Oh, it's going to be bad, blah, blah, blah. What do? You go in survival mode and you run to the store and you buy up stuff you don't need. Then they say, oh, my bad. My bad. We made a mistake. Wow. We made a mistake. Now you got cases and cases of this. But guess what? They just moved old product out of the back because you bought it and they made a profit off of your fear. That's business 101. Because they know this. Sooner or later, you're going to come. You're going to come. But I will say this. Unification starts within ourselves by accountability of ourselves, not celebrating bad behavior. Because let's say this. You do understand there's somebody that looks just like you in the top 1% that wants you dead. It's a fact. Look it up. There are people who look just like you that are investing in prisons. That's a fact. They got the means to invest in prisons, but they won't invest in schools. Why is that? They don't care about you. Why are they gonna care about you when you don't care about you? Well, we overlook that. Why is that? We spend more time investing in our triggers. You yelling, you screaming, "Oh, I'm pro this," but you look like them. You take on the traits of them. You become what you hate, which is nothing but fear. Which ain't nothing when you peel that on your back. You see why you feel the way you do, why you act the way you do, why you lay with who you do. Hmm. So stop screaming separatism and start screaming what you need. Because last time I checked, he created us. He didn't ask you to go the route you did. And you're going to continue to go the route you do because you are too prideful to admit to yourself you were wrong. So why do you think your direction is going? Ain't nothing smooth out of that. And I'll leave this alone. But I'll put this in there. When you start your week this week, because I know there's gonna be somebody, there's gonna be They're gonna be somebody screaming this and screaming that, and usually those are the people the most that are non-productive in the work system in the center, because you're gonna be the work. They're gonna be talking about this and that and this, but yet you don't put no energy into work. So guess what? They ain't for you anyway. They ain't for you because they ain't pulling their rope, and that's the problem. We don't pull our own weight. Why? You're afraid to do something different, or tell the truth. You're afraid to love yourself. I think you're just afraid. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your work, and for that, it helps me discern mine. See, you won't understand where you're going until you decide to invest in you. But guess what? You can't get there until you decide to take accountability for your actions to heal those wounds. You won't change? Change what's inside you and watch your world change outside. Be blessed.